Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I hope you're well. The one-sided war between Israel and Palestine has entered its 46th day. For 46 days, the people of Gaza have been suffering and facing conditions that cannot be described by mere words. Since the start of the war, Piers Morgan, a renowned host, has been interviewing both pro-Palestinians and pro-Israelis on his show, where he discusses with them the current scenario and the possible solution to the ongoing crisis. Recently, he interviewed Andrew Tate and tried to get his views on the same. When Andrew Tate was asked about the situation, he straightforwardly accused Israel of carrying out an onslaught on innocent Palestinians. He stated that everybody knows who is carrying out mass destruction, even Piers himself. But he pretends to not know it because maybe of the higher powers above him.
What is your view of this war?
I think when you call it a war, you're doing a disservice to the people who are having their limbs blown off by some of the most advanced technical weaponry on the planet. It is a genocide and it is disgusting. And it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you fall on. When you observe a genocide in front of your very eyes, you should be disgusted.
Which side is waging genocide?
The Israelis are genociding the Palestinians, and you know it as well as everybody else does.
That.
Well, then it seems like your bosses are not allowing you to know it.
Piers, throughout the interview, tried very hard to make Andrew admit that everything that the Israeli government is doing right now is only a repercussion of the actions of the extremist attack that Israel faced on October 7th. This way of approaching the current crisis is known as dehistorization. And this approach is nothing new. It was used previously by many colonial powers to justify any actions they performed, by making people believe that everything actually started on October 7th. Piers and many other media personalities are using this technique to not let people search for the history of the conflict.
Of what Hamas did on October the 7th?
Why are you starting the story in the middle, Piers?
I just asked you about the wider war. I'm now asking you specifically about Hamas.
I cannot professionally answer that question without talking about the context that led up to October 7th.
Well, nothing, to my mind, justifies what happened on October the 7th.
Nothing justifies what happened before October the 7th, Piers. This is the exact point. So you're talking to a man, I don't know what answer you expect from me, because let's forget the fact I'm a Muslim. You're talking to a man who is fighting oppression to the best of his ability because he believes that the people in charge of the world are enslaving us all, to the point where I detriment my own life. I end up in a jail cell because I'm speaking against oppression. Then you're asking me what I would do if my family was blown to pieces.
You're not in a jail. Hang on.
You're asking me what I would do if another government came along and blew my family to pieces?
You weren't put in a jail cell because of any oppression.
Absolutely I was.
No, you weren't.
Of course
you
I
were
was.
put in jail cell because you've been accused of serious sexual crimes.
I would not have been accused if I was not monumentally successful in speaking the truth.
Let me ask you again. It's a simple question. Some people can answer it straight away, including pro-Palestinians people I've had on my program. Many are very quick to say absolutely. Do you believe Hamas are a terror organization?
This conflict, or better to be called oppression, did not start on October 7th. It started in 1948, and unfortunately since then, this matter has never been resolved. The victims of the oppression never got any justice, and they are still facing unimaginable suffering without hope of any kind of solution for their problem. Throughout the interview, the point of Piers was that the actions of the Israeli government were a reaction to the attacks that it had endured in the recent past, and Israel had never started any attack without being provoked. When Andrew tried to cross the claim of Piers by stating that there are actually innumerable examples where Israel started attacking the innocent people of Palestine without any provocation, he was interrupted in between and was posted by another question.
Give me one example of where Israel, without any provocation, went into, a specific question, went into Gaza and massacred 1,500 innocent people, cutting their heads off, taping and boasting about what they'd done back to their families in Israel, kidnapping Holocaust survivors, they wouldn't of course done that in their case, kidnapping old grandmothers and bringing them back to Israel, kidnapping babies, kidnapping children. When has Israel actually gone in and done something of the scale of October the 7th?
There's literally endless examples of that.
Give me one.
In 2014, they were bombing civilians.
You know
what, Piers, let me tell you something.
I'm not talking about what they were
categorized
categorized as retaliation for rocket strikes, and there's an arguable point, as there is, for example, I'm vehemently against the expansion of the settlements on the West Bank. I think there are legitimate questions about the proportionality of Israel's response here. But in terms of what Hamas perpetrated on October the 7th, there is no instance of Israel doing that to the people of Gaza.
If one is following the interviews of Piers Morgan, then anyone with the least level of intellect can easily make out that Piers Morgan tries to justify the actions of Israel. He tries to interrupt any pro-Palestinian voice whenever he feels that the point his guest is about to make will question the Israeli government. And the main theme of all his interviews is the dehistorization of this 75-year-old oppression. Piers Morgan may try as much as he can to depict himself as being unbiased and a fair interviewer, but it is so apparent how biased he is and how he tries to put the tag of supporter of extremist group on every pro-Palestinian guest he invites to his show. Andrew Tate gave a clear message in this interview that the actions of October 7 were a result of years of oppression and injustice. And while he made it very clear that the loss of innocent lives on either side of the conflict is not acceptable, it is crucial to understand the root cause behind every unfortunate incident. Piers Morgan and most media personalities like him are trying to cover up facts and years of oppression by assuming that the people of Palestine don't have anyone by their side and that they will be able to brainwash their viewers by using this technique. What they don't know is that they won't be able to hide even an ounce of injustice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not unaware of what the wrongdoers do.
ولا تحسبن الله غافلا عما يعمل الظالمون إنما يؤخرهم ليوم تشخص فيه الأبصار ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل أنه من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا ولقد جاءتهم رسلنا بالبينات ثم إن كثيرا منهم بعد ذلك في الأرض لمسرفون.
May Allah always be with the people of Palestine. May Allah ease their suffering. Ameen.